Hi, this is Joan Kagan from Triplement Real Estate. I am here today with Sharon Mahn, CEO and founder of Mahn Consulting, a legal and executive search firm. Sharon is an attorney herself, a marathon runner, and an amazing networker and connector. It seems like Sharon knows everyone in the New York City business and legal communities. I've invited Sharon for a chat today because recruiting, like real estate and other entrepreneurial service industries, rely on relationships and in person contact. We've been discussing the best ways to communicate with clients and colleagues during the pandemic in a sensitive way and being mindful of where people are emotionally. So, Sharon, tell us a little bit about yourself and Mon Consulting. How long have you been in business?
First of all, I'm going to tell you that that was such a kind introduction. I am hiring you as my public relations person, and
I,
not just my real estate broker, but also my public relations person. I have been doing recruiting for about 20 years. As you mentioned, I am a recovering attorney. I have to say that one of the reasons why I feel so blessed in my position is that I love what I do. And in essence, my entire job is networking and working with people to find them jobs.
yeah.
So it's an amazing career.
Prior to the coronavirus, what were your preferred ways to network?
Well, being based in New York City and also living in New York City, one of the benefits that I had was that I had about 8,000 restaurants open to me at any point. So it
Right.
was always wonderful to go meet clients out for dinner, coffee, drinks. And it was always nice to meet them out for various events. But since the coronavirus, it has changed a bit, as we know. So we're going to have to do a new way of networking moving forward.
So, and in fact, I know one of the things you shared with me is that people, your friends have been calling you and going like, Sharon, what are you doing? You're usually out like every night. Like, what is this? What are you doing with yourself? Like, it's a completely different way of living for you.
It is. And what's amazing to me is that I've talked to more people now during the coronavirus than I had before the pandemic. It's
Right.
amazing how many people with whom I've kept in touch.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things that has allowed us to do now is take a pause in our lives. I think to regroup and look at it as a positive way of taking stock of what you want to do in the next few months to position yourself to move forward once the pandemic is over.
I agree, and I think it's one of those things where we're like it is a pause, and we're taking stock and thinking about really what's important to you. And in fact, one of the first things I did when we were paused was I went back to my 2020 goals and I said, my annual plan is not going to work anymore. We need to like sit down and reevaluate. And even what I reevaluated 2 months ago isn't really relevant today. So, but really kind of reevaluating where we are, what we want, and what our expectations for ourselves are. And it's not just business related.
Right. I mean, we are in uncharted times. It's unprecedented. So we all are really trying to pave a new way for ourselves without really having a roadmap. This has never happened before. So people are really pivoting and trying to find the next best thing that can come out of this type of situation.
When you are speaking to people, how are you balancing the sensitive nature of these times when people are dealing with major health issues, financial issues, death, and mental health issues? How are you still providing value?
I think one of the great values of Zoom is that you have that one-on-one connection with someone and you could see them, you could speak with them. The
Mhm.
connection might not always be there. Sometimes we have a weak connection, but at the same time,
I get it.
you're getting at least a chance. You're getting a chance to at least interact with people. It's a good way to be able to see somebody. It provides comfort because we're all socially distanced, so I can actually see you. I know that there's someone out there. You don't feel as lonely. I think that's a very important connection. And I'm seeing a lot of Zoom conferences pop up. Like suddenly it feels like the Brady Bunch. This is an old reference for people who probably will not know who's under 40. I see all these squares and I'm in one of them and I'm seeing all these people and all of a sudden I'm meeting all these new people on Zoom and then they
Right.
all connect with me offline
That's
and it seems to be the way of networking, you know?
so I'm
That's
going to ask you
that's
a great
that's what we're
question. There was
doing.
something that you just said that you're seeing people online and then they're connecting. You're seeing people on a Zoom call and then they're connecting with you online. So how is that happening?
Well, I was just in a Zoom networking group, and sometimes it's like the new LinkedIn, but you get to interact with people face to face. So I
Mhm.
think it's better because you have the commonality of someone linking all of you together. It could be like four of you, it could be 45 of you. You're all on this Zoom call. And
Mhm.
if you're listening in and you're hearing someone talk about something of interest, you can contact the person that put the Zoom call together and say, hey, I really like so and so's idea. Would you mind connecting us by email? And the
Right.
person would be comfortable put you together. You just
Mhm.
have one common link. It's not out of the blue. It's not someone you don't know, and I think that brings people together and fosters trust.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I think that's very helpful.
One of the things that I found kind of neat also is like the comment section. So There are times that, like, if I'm in a call and I see someone I know, I'll just, like, you can do, like, a direct message and just say, "Hey, it's so
Yeah,
good to see your face." And, the
yes,
truth is, like you said, the eye contact and I feel like you get a lot more communication by seeing someone face to face, even in a Zoom call, than you would on
that's
a
right.
phone call, because you get,
That's
like,
right.
for me, like, hand motions, expressions, eye
Yes.
contact, although sometimes I don't know who I'm making eye contact with. But you
It's hard to
we
tell where we are. Like,
you
if I'm
sound
even
like
looking at you,
I'm
I don't know how
flirting
this is
with
coming
them.
across. And I also like to see what's in everyone's backgrounds. I always like to see their homes because suddenly it says a lot about your
About
personality. What kind of photos they have on the wall, what kind of artwork they have in their house, what's their view. I think it's very telling about a person's personality. And you can tell a lot more about a person that way because we're actually now in their home, literally. You can always like tell who's a minimalist like myself, who's got the great background like you, Joan. You
yeah.
can tell you're a phenomenal real estate agent just by the way your home is decorated. I see that. Great advertising. And I think it's great. It's just a slight nuance, but it really does express a person's values and just makes a statement about them. It's very
I
important.
I agree, and I think you go a little bit deeper into a person than you would, like, rather than, like, a business meeting.
And you're a little bit more relaxed on Zoom. Your personality can shine through a little bit more. You're not in a suit. Your kids could be jumping up on top of you. Your dog could be like begging to go outside. You don't know what's going to happen on a Zoom call. It's very personal because we're all in the house together. We're all quarantined. Our families are all together. Anything can happen. That poor guy, remember the guy from BBC a few years ago when his children came
Right?
into the room? He's become like a national hero. People are like, how did he do
And
from home?
that was news.
That was news. And now it's like everyday life. It's
Like,
just a
big
new
news. That
normal.
happens to everybody these days.
And the guy was quoted as saying, I told you it's not that easy. Now you know.
I will tell you, if I'm having a bad day and I'm a little down, it's getting to me, what I will do is watch that Zoom call of the woman.
Every time it makes you laugh, right? Every time. I mean, with the kids coming in, the wife trying to get them out of the way.
Talking about the one, and maybe I need to send it to you if you haven't seen it, because you'll thank me. There was this work Zoom call, and this woman was going to the bathroom and hadn't turned off the video. Did you see this?
I heard about that. I didn't want to see it, but I heard about it. That was enough. Because it can happen to any of us. You're like, you don't want to laugh because what if it happened to me? Like that could be me. That's okay. We're all learning. It's all a learning progress. It's a learning curve.
It is. Oh my gosh.
We're
Okay.
flattening the curve and we have a learning curve. That's what's
There
going
you
on in our lives. Everything's a curve.
Um, so what kinds of messaging have your clients and colleagues responded to? Like, what has been helpful? Like, what have you been able to give that's valuable and people are responding to in a positive way?
I think for people that I think the most sincerest form of reaching out to someone is just ask how are they doing. I
Mhm.
mean, this is a scary time. People have
Right.
relatives that are sick. You don't know what they're going through. And a lot of times you don't know how to conduct business if you don't really know what's happening with the person on the other side. If they have a parent that's very sick, obviously you want to provide comfort and you don't want to push too hard. You want to give them space, understandably. So sometimes conversations you may never have had before, you're now connecting with someone on a different level and just say, how are you? What's happening? And some people want to open up, and that fosters a very personal connection, even with business contacts.
I agree. And I think also every conversation really has to start with not just, hey, how you doing, but really how are you? One of the things I learned from my previous career in social work was, if we had a client and we wanted to talk about their kids in school and what's going on with their school situation, and they actually didn't have, like, food on the table for that kid, it didn't matter what was going on with school. Like, we really need to address, like, the primary
Right.
issue. They needed to feed themselves and their family. So I feel like it's the same thing here. Is we really need to talk to anybody, to our clients, to our colleagues, and say, kind of, what's going on with you right now? Where are you? How's your family? Um,
Right.
and how's your business? And
Right.
take it from there, and then kind of have another conversation. But I think we really need to know where they are before we really start a conversation with them.
I agree. And I think people really remember that kindness long after the pandemic will be over. Hopefully, at some point very soon, people will always remember how kind you were. They might not remember what you said, what you talked about, but they will always remember the feeling that you walked away with. And kindness always wins. And it always endears yourself to someone. Even if you don't know what you're doing, even if you don't know you're saying the right words, just be there for somebody and they'll remember that. So
Absolutely.
I find that's always, I think kindness is the best way. And that's how you endure hard times. And that's how you form friendships. And some of the best friendships have been formed during down times. That's when you really open up and you bond. So I think it's important to be very kind, especially during this time.
Words of wisdom, Sharon Mahn. What are three questions that everyone should be asking themselves, or every business person should be asking themselves about shifting their business to kind of the new normal, or whatever the new normal will be?
Yeah, I think in every part of life, I mean, I think everyone, regardless of whether you're going through a pandemic or not, has to ask themselves at some juncture in their career, am I going in the right direction? And is this where I want my career to go? And particularly at this time, I think an important question is, do I really like where I am in life? Do I like where I'm going in life? I mean, everyone's thinking about these deep questions now during the pandemic. People are grappling with issues and saying, what do I want with my life? As I see all of this, the economic stress, and people are suffering like so many more deeper losses than just financial. You want to ask yourself, am I doing something meaningful in my life? And does this really benefit me? And do I wake up every day excited about what I do?
Hmm.
And if you're lucky enough in life where you have some financial savings, you really want to do something that's more impactful than just making a paycheck every day. And I know now in this pandemic, so many people worry about economics. But at the same time, if you don't love what you do, regardless, I think at some point it'll catch up with you, whether it be an illness, you'll be stressed. So I think this is a good time more than ever during this like pause that we discussed to figure out what do you really want to do in life, and does it really truly make you happy?
What are you working on that you during this time that you hadn't worked on before? Like, were there tasks that you feel like, well, whenever I get time,
Yes,
I'll do that?
I have been catching up on continuing legal education classes. Is it sexy and exciting? Probably not, but it's something I would never do otherwise. Maybe it's because I'm in quarantine, but I'm actually finding them very interesting and exciting. So I feel now I'll come out of this in the next 2 months and I'll say, look, this is what I've accomplished. It's a measurable accomplishment. I'll feel good. I got it out of the way, and it will allow me to focus moving forward on things where I can actually generate and help my business, as opposed to the administrative stuff that we all need to do, but sometimes we make excuses. But if
Yeah.
we catch up on that, that clears us to do the things that we really need to do. And I think that's going to be a good launching point once we come out of the pandemic. Cleaning my house. There's a lot to be said to be like not so cluttered. I'm doing things that'll allow me again less cluttered, more focused, and things again that you don't like to do, but you know you need to do to clear your way so you can do other bigger projects when everything clears and you're able to go forward.
Right. I mean, I know for myself, I know once we get back, and once I can show property again, I'm going to be really busy. So I'm really kind of making sure my systems are in place so that I can like move fast. Final question. Because I'm a real estate
Yes.
person, I got to ask a real estate question. I got to ask about your home. Um, so, what, so what
My very organized home now.
exactly, right? So how have you rethought what home is to you, or how have your priorities for what you want in a home changed for you?
That's a great question because I think everyone now in quarantine is wondering about the very same question.
Yeah.
And for me, I now realize like how important the home space is and how much that you do at home and how much it affects your mood, how much you can get work done. And again, going back to the last question, I mean, being organized, being clean, I think that's really helpful. I think it really clears a passage for you to be focused. And if now the new normal is working from home more than ever, we want to have a space that is organized and that we can work from. But at the same time, we want to enjoy ourselves, not be stressed. So I
Mhm.
think the home now is much more than just a stopping point, especially for New Yorkers who go out all the time. They always say, oh, we don't spend that much time in our homes. I think New Yorkers, especially now, will start rethinking about what does it mean to have a home and can I work from there? Can I exercise from there? Do I feel comfortable there? Am I well stocked? Do I have everything that I need? Am I organized to find things? I think those will be the questions that most will be asking.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see kind of what the changes are. What I mean, like the home office, most people are like, "Yeah, it's fine. I just need a laptop." Like, but now people are like, "Wait, I need a desk." Like you see people who are like zooming from their bed. They're like, "I don't have any other place to be." The only place where it's quiet. Sharon, thank you so much for sharing your wise insights. This was fun,
As
fun.
always, I love speaking with you. I feel like old times again. I feel like we're out and about, even though we're like socially distanced. I still feel like we're out and
Exactly,
about and
right?
connected. This is
I
wonderful.
know. It's so much fun. So I have to say, wise insights, lots of good business advice, but most importantly, a lot of fun. You made me laugh, which is always important. So I wish you safety and good health. Keep your positive energy because we all need it. It's so important. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Good to see you too. Thank you and be safe.